I heard her voice, clear, soft, deadly, call him honey, before she turned and smiled at me. That single word hit me harder than any slap. In that moment I felt the floor tilt beneath me, the air thinning. She called him honey. She called him honey in front of me, and everything changed. I want you to imagine the scene with me. The room, dim golden light pooling across the hardwood floor. He and I were leaning against the same kitchen counter, cutting lemons for iced tea when she walked in. The door clicked, shoes on floor, the hush of arrival. He looked up, and she said, "Hey honey," with a softness I have never heard directed at me. She was my friend. She had been my friend in quiet corners, we had secrets between us. And yet here she was, speaking to him with a closeness I never fully admitted, making me ache. That one word, honey, revealed more than years of gestures, half smiles, and stolen tension ever could. Attention. That moment froze everything around me. Her voice rolled through my chest, a ripple I couldn't contain. Interest. I had always known there was something between him and me, unspoken, hovering, but I believed I could control it. I believed I could be the confidant, the sister, the safe harbor. But that call changed the rules. She moved through the room with ease, and I watched how he straightened a little at her presence, how his eyes softened. My own heart hammered. Desire. I felt the familiar tug, the pull of wanting him, wanting closeness, wanting the secret they shared to spill open. I felt jealousy, sharp and unbidden, slicing through my rational mind. That evening I felt my skin warm. I smelled her perfume, light floral with an undertone of something deeper. My hand on the knife trembled slightly. I wondered, was I already losing him? Or had I never actually had him? Action/cliffhanger. She reached over and brushed hair behind her ear. A gesture of casual intimacy. He touched her arm just unknowingly. I froze. I couldn't look away. Then she turned toward me, lips curved in a smile, and said, "Nice to see you." And in that moment I realized everything had changed, and I didn't know if I could stay. I closed my eyes, my heartbeat loud in my ears. I knew there would be consequences. Stay with me, because this is where things begin to unravel. I spent the rest of that night pacing the apartment, replaying that syllable in my mind, honey, over and over like a mantra. I told myself it was meaningless, that words can trick you, but my body betrayed me. My skin felt alive, eyes too aware of shadows, ears attuned to silence. We had plans to meet for coffee the next day. In the morning I texted him, "See you at noon?" I lied about errands, about a headache, but I craved normalcy, a chance to talk, to feel steady again. When he arrived, I was already waiting in the cafe we always used. Table by the window, soft morning light sliding in. I must have seemed calm, but inside I was brittle. He slid into the chair across from me, his face bright. I watched the way his eyes flicked over me, curious, concerned. He asked, "Are you okay?" I swallowed. I said yes. That wasn't a lie, I was okay in a way I couldn't yet name. We chatted about work, about mutual friends, about small things to avoid the sweeping backdraft of that night. I bit my lip, trying to steady the surge in my chest. His proximity made me aware of every breath, every micromotion, the sparkle in his eyes when he smiled, the way his fingers touched the table. Then he said, almost casually, "She asked about you last night." Those words were a kind of dagger. I looked up. "She did." He nodded. I should have asked more, demanded context, pulled him in. But instead I squeezed my coffee cup and said, "That's nice." Inside me a quiet storm roared. Why would she ask about me? What had she been told, or what had I allowed her to believe? I felt suddenly vulnerable, naked to possibility. We walked afterward, a meandering route through a nearby park. Trees overhead, patches of sunlight, the river's distant whisper. He reached his hand toward mine, brushing fingers. I didn't pull away, though I wanted to freeze, to hide. But I let my fingers hover, almost meeting his. Just a breath's gap. He hesitated, then closed that gap. His hand captured mine. Slow, deliberate. I felt warmth flooding through me. The world blurred. My pulse hammered so loud I thought someone else might hear. I stared at our joined hands, then at him. He smiled softly, a glance heavy with possibility. And then across the path I saw her. Walking with someone else, a part of her hidden behind branches. Her presence was a ripple. I felt exposed. He squeezed my hand. I wanted to pull away, but I couldn't. "Are you okay?" he whispered. My heart lurched. Before I could answer, he said quietly, I've missed this. My breath caught. The night is coming. Evening felt like a friend in a trap. I avoided my phone, pacing again, replaying the cafe moment. I asked myself if his hand felt heavy with meaning. Was he merely seeking comfort? Or was this more? The next day she texted me, let's catch up soon. Simple. Casual. But after what happened, it felt like a gauntlet thrown down. I stared at the message. I wondered what she wanted. I wondered whether she knew how close we had come. Whether she knew I was the gap between them or the wedge. I texted back, sure, coffee? A lie again, always coffee. A neutral ground. She replied, Saturday, 2 p.m. Saturday arrived. I painted on confidence, dressed in something that felt like me, loose and lithe. I went to the cafe they always used. I arrived early, found a corner table. I sat, tapped my foot. My phone screen glowed. I saw his name but didn't open any message. I waited for her. When she arrived, she looked beautiful in that effortless way. Hair loose, eyes bright. I stood to greet her. Her hug lingered, her voice dipped. It's been too long. Her warmth felt like a claim. We talked about holidays, mutual acquaintances. She asked after him. How's he been? I felt tension tighten. I said he was good. She asked if I was good. I should have said no. Instead I said yes. Reflecting light. Then she leaned forward. She placed her hand on mine. I'm glad we're doing this. Her voice was soft. My heart seized, I felt heat flood my cheeks. She nodded toward him. Do you two spend a lot of time together? She asked. The question felt innocent, as though she didn't know. But I did. I knew how late our texts ran. How our laughter bled into the night. How he sometimes stayed until the morning. I hesitated. I said, we see each other often. That was true. It was also a lie of omission. Her eyes flickered. Just as friends? She asked. The question held ambition, uncertainty, accusation. I nodded. But inside my chest twisted. I wanted to say so much more. I wanted to confess. But I swallowed. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She withdrew her hand. Good to know. We parted shortly after. I watched her walk away, her figure framed by sunlight. I felt raw. When I got home, there was a message on my phone from him. We need to talk tonight. Are you free? I felt the tremor of fear and desire both. Night came and I waited in the dark. My phone glowed. I paced. I asked myself whether to cancel, but I knew I couldn't. This talk would decide everything. He showed up at my door. His eyes were taut. He said hello quietly and stepped inside. Silence hung heavy. I offered him a drink. He declined. We sat across from each other, distance measured. He broke the quiet. I'm sorry. Simple. Raw. My gut clenched. What are you apologizing for? I asked. He swallowed. For confusing things. His eyes were warm. Miserable. He ran fingers through hair. He leaned forward. I never meant to hurt anyone. Least of all you. I felt tears prickling. I tried to steady myself. What do you mean confused? I asked. He hesitated. I didn't expect her. Her presence, her claim. His voice faltered. I looked away, heart sinking. He stood, walked across the room, paused. He looked back at me. I need you to know, nothing between us is casual to me. His words landed, heavy and resonant. I swallowed hard. I stood as well, glancing at him. Then don't call me casual, I said, voice low. He closed the distance between us. He reached out. My breath hammered. I wanted to lean in, I wanted to run away. His hand brushed my cheek. I felt heat, a shiver that traveled downward. He paused, trembling. Our eyes locked. He whispered, I'm torn. I felt raw, my heart ragged, but I said, so am I. Then he leaned closer, his breath warm, and I felt every inch of me lean in too. Suddenly the doorbell rang. Our moment shattered. He jumped. I jerked away. We both froze. He looked toward the door. My chest felt hollow. Who? He moved toward the door. I heard a voice, hers. The soft click of heels. My gut twisted. He crossed to the door. My heart roared. He opened it. She stepped in. She stopped. She looked between us. I saw recognition, confusion, something darker. Him in the doorway, frozen. Me silent. Her eyes on me. She said quietly, "Hello." My throat went dry. The three of us stood in the narrow hallway bathed in lamplight. The air prickled. She poised, he conflicted, me raw with shock. I felt vulnerable, the exposed triangle of longing and betrayal. Time stuttered. She cleared her throat. "Didn't expect to find you here," she said to him, but her eyes flicked at me. I felt a hot flare of envy. Did she perceive closeness? Did she see my red cheeks, the glint in his eyes toward me? He swallowed, closing the door behind her. He glanced between us. I wanted to say stop, I wanted to run. But I stayed. I watched. She moved forward, calm but bold. "I thought I'd surprise you," she continued. Her calm unsettled me. She turned to me. "I see you two have been busy." That phrase lay gently cut. Her voice tremored, but her gaze was steadier than mine. He shifted. His hand brushed mine across the couch later, but now here distance yawned. She asked him, Are you seeing her more than me?" Her voice shattered. The accusation hung in that corner. He exhaled. I saw the tension in his shoulders. He didn't answer at once. He looked at both of us. I felt cold, small, helpless. She looked at me, then back to him. Her lip quivered. She said, "I don't think I want to share you." I winced. The moment was intimate, fragile, brutal. He stood. He placed a hand gently on her arm. "It's not like that." But his voice cracked. She pulled away from him, a fizzle of motion. She turned back to me. How long has this been happening?" Her eyes had fire now. My mouth went dry. I could not look at her. I said nothing. He stepped between us. "No, you don't have to answer her." She glared. "No? I do. Because I'm not blind." In that moment I realized a line was crossed. Not in action perhaps, but in emotional betrayal. In desire made manifest. She took a breath. "I'm done being the backup." She looked at him, then at me. "I want the truth." He stood caught between us. I watched him. I felt the in me, guilt and longing, shame and desire. He closed his eyes. The room grew quiet. The silence roared. Then he opened his eyes and said my name. The single syllable rattled me. I didn't know what my answer could be. After she left, the apartment felt hollow. The door closed, latch clicking, and the world grew quiet except for our ragged breathing. He looked at me and I felt the shame pressing behind my ribs. I stood. I paced. The chairs, the table, the shadows, everything seemed sharper, angular, accusing. He followed me. He asked, "Are you okay?" I didn't trust my voice. I said nothing. He moved toward me. He placed a hand on my back, gentle. I tensed. He whispered, "I'm so sorry." But I wanted more than sorry. I wanted reckoning. I turned to him. My throat was raw. "Was it ever just nothing?" I asked. My voice cracked like a twig. He looked at me, so soft and haunted. He shook his head. "No." Tears stung my eyes. I bit my lip. I wanted to push him away, but I couldn't. I wanted proof, closeness, confession, clarity. I touched his hand. He took mine. He traced the lines of my palm. I felt him. I felt his heat. I felt the tension in his fingers, the tremor. We stood in that hush, suspended. I watched him, feeling exposed. I decided to speak, to confess. "I want you," I said. My voice was small but fierce. "I want all of you. Even when she's around. Even when you say you're torn." He closed his eyes. I pressed closer. My heart knocked. He whispered, "You have me." It wasn't enough. I needed more. Words, declarations, complete fidelity. I looked at him. I said, "Do you love her?" He hesitated. His eyes flickered. Finally, "There's a part of me that does." Pain lanced me, but I didn't look away. Instead I asked, "Then who wins?" He didn't answer. I pulled away. I said, "I need to know where I stand." He followed. He said, "You stand with me if you want." I stared at him. Could I choose him knowing she existed in his heart? Could I endure that echo? He moved forward again. He brushed my cheek. I leaned in, trembling. He kissed me. Tender. Fierce. Hesitant. everything I needed and feared. In that kiss I felt possibility. I felt risk. I felt desire and danger binding together. When we pulled back, we were close. His breath heavy. My heart bare. I whispered, "We need rules." He nodded. "We do." And somewhere beyond, the night waited. In the following days, we tiptoed around a raw new landscape. We set rules, honesty, transparency, boundaries with her. But those rules were fragile. Desire crawled at the edges of them, testing limits. He and I spent stolen moments, a brush of shoulder, a lingering gaze across a room. My skin felt electric. Sometimes we texted long into the night, truth slipping between lines. I found solace in his voice over the phone. Soft confessions, apologies, need. But then there were moments when she would appear. At parties, group dinners, casual meets. She looked at us. Her eyes held past, present suspicion. My throat tightened. Sometimes I caught her watching me. I felt her watching him. I felt unseen walls rising. One evening at a mutual friend's party, she approached me. She asked if we could talk in private. I agreed, uneasy. We slipped outside into the garden, moonlight, soft rustle of leaves, the distant clink of glasses. She said, "I know." Her voice trembled but firm. "I feel it when you look at him." My heart pounded. I looked away. I couldn't meet her eyes. She asked, "Do you love him?" I swallowed. "Yes," I whispered. She closed her mouth. I felt guilt, resolve, fear. Then she said, "Do you think he loves me?" I sat silent. The question was a dagger. She stood. Her silhouette was fierce. She said, "I don't want to fight you, but I can't stay here if he looks at you like that." She turned to leave. I reached out, but she didn't stop. I stood in that moonlight, breathless. I felt the ground shift. I realized this was no longer just about me and him. It was about boundaries, choice, pain. That night I lay awake, wondering, can love like this survive? Days later he came to me. His eyes were heavy. He said, "She gave me an ultimatum." I felt the world tilt. My throat went dry. He continued, "It's her or us." Everything froze. I felt my heart tear. "Choose her or me?" He looked at me. I looked at him. Trembling, I asked, "What do you choose?" His silence was the cliffhanger. In that moment, time stretched. I held my breath, heart pounding so loud it felt like a drum in my chest. He looked torn, body, soul split. I saw her name on his lips before he spoke. Then he shook his head, as though waking from a dream. He reached for me. I rose. I walked into his arms. My eyes stung. His voice cracked. "I can't lose you." Shock, grief, joy, each battling in my chest. I pressed closer. Our bodies folded together. I couldn't tell where he ended and I began. He whispered against my hair, "You're my truth." I felt tears, hot, soft, on my cheeks. I held him. I let the tension, the guilt, the fear wipe away in warmth. He pulled back slightly, cupping my face. His thumb brushed away a stray tear. He said, "I'll tell her. Everything. I'll walk away if needed." I shook, voice breaking. "No, you can't do that." He said, "I'll do whatever it takes to make this right." In that moment I realized love is messy, wild, and demanding. It's confrontation and surrender. It's knowing risk and still stepping forward. That night he sent her a message. I watched his fingers tremble. He poured out truth, confession, commitment. He offered choice, space, distance, transparency. The message delivered was raw and whole. The next day, she replied with a simple acknowledgement. She asked for time. We waited. Days passed. The silence weighed on me. He held me in the quiet. Hands warm, kisses gentle, whispers. I felt like we were rebuilding something delicate. Brick by brick. Then she called. We were together in my apartment, soft light, rain tapping windows. His phone rang. He looked at me. He answered. It was her. He said, "I need to talk in person." I watched him wrestle. Finally he said, "Not now." He hung up. He turned to me. I said no. He whispered. I threw my arms around him, crying. He held me. In that embrace I felt victory and loss all entwined. We lay together afterward, quiet. I traced lines on his chest. He kissed my forehead. We said little. Words felt small. In the dawn we spoke softly. "Me, are we okay?" He, we will be. We closed the distance between us. I pressed my lips to his. In that kiss I tasted hope and reckoning.